Hi everyone, happy Thursday. So today I thought I would talk about grace. If you've been keeping up with the topics I've been covering over the last month and a half or so, you've probably noticed a common theme, and that's awareness. And this is because my approach to relationship coaching starts with understanding how we're showing up. So I like to apply this to my own relationship by looking at how I handle situations that come up with my husband, but also ones that come up with friends or even strangers. So what sparked this topic for this week is I had a coffee appointment scheduled with someone, and they didn't show up after like 15 minutes. So I messaged them and didn't hear anything back right away. I think I waited another 5 minutes or so, and then I left. And this person immediately, as I was driving home, called me, apologized. The appointment they had before me just ran over. And so, I said, no big deal. Like, life happens, we'll reschedule. And I started thinking about how, after I got the phone with this person, I started thinking about how I might have reacted differently if this same type of situation happened with my husband. And that just made me realize, I probably don't give him the same. And as I was thinking, I was like, what's that word I'm looking for? And it was grace. The same grace that I gave to this person, or that I would give to a friend. And so I started thinking about the concept of grace, and I looked it up to just get some definitions for grace in the context that I was thinking about it in. And it was really interesting. So one of them was grace is a chance, time, or the ability to make mistakes without punishment. I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Another one was an unmerited gift of compassion. And that really kind of resonated with me even more, because it's not just forgiveness. It's really about that compassion that you can give to another person. And another definition I saw was recognizing our shared humanity and its imperfections. And I just thought these were really powerful because it really focused a lot on mistakes and imperfections and shared humanity, giving compassion to other people. And so I started thinking about how can we consciously and intentionally give our partners more grace? And so I came up with a couple ideas. So let's say I'm going to think of something that maybe happens to me, because that's the easiest way for me to think of these things. But it's also, I think, probably something pretty common. And that is let's say that I asked my husband to do something, right? So something around the house or whatever. And he hasn't done it. I haven't said anything, but he realizes oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. He says, I'm sorry I haven't done whatever this thing was yet. And, he apologizes. And I thought about in that moment how I can be more compassionate, right? So I could say something like, it's okay. I understand you have other priorities right now, which may or may not be the most, natural response to that, right? Because a lot of times when I think we're in those kind of situations, we almost want to I don't know if you want to say pile on, but they're apologizing for not getting it done yet. And I think it's easy for us in those situations to just be like, okay, well, can you just get it done, soon, or something like that, So instead of doing that, right, because they're already acknowledging that they realize that they haven't done this thing, right, is just being understanding. Hey, I get it. I understand your other priorities right now. And I think two things happen in that situation. One, we've shown them compassion, which I think is what this is all about, right? And so we feel better about the interaction. But then I think they also walk away from that situation as like, oh, like she didn't harass me anymore. She didn't give me any grief about it or whatever. And like, I think they're pleasantly surprised. So just something to try. I think another way we can give our partners more grace is by looking for opportunities when they seem stressed, and show them compassion by maybe taking something off their plate, or by simply like not reacting to how stress shows up for that person. Maybe they get cranky, maybe they're short with us in the moment when they're feeling stressed. So instead of being short back or pointing out that, they don't need to be so cranky or, whatever, is giving them grace by just maybe leaving them alone. I don't know what grace looks like for each particular person, but I find sometimes just not saying anything and just leaving them alone, because they're obviously having like a tough time, right? And sometimes the last thing they want is any sort of feedback or comment, or even if we think we're being helpful. So that was just an idea that I thought of. So think about your partner and how you might not always give them grace. What situations could you show up differently in by remembering that they're not perfect and neither are you, and show compassion. If this is bringing up some strong feelings like, well, I know he's not perfect, but how hard is it to do X, Y, Z, or some other form of resistance to showing him compassion, you might need some help in shifting this pattern of thinking. What's great about coaching is we start with identifying the thoughts and feelings that lead to certain behaviors, so we can interrupt the pattern and make a conscious choice in how we want to show up. It's an amazing process that can really transform relationships. So let me know by commenting in this post if you'd like to chat about your particular situation. And also be on the lookout for an exciting announcement I'll be making soon. It's about an event that I'm going to be doing. I'm super excited about it, and I'll just leave it there for now. So until next week, just stay connected, everyone.